Hello, changelings, and welcome to the Night Garden. I'm VampireAntihero, and this is Conquer Thy Fear Studio. Good morning, changelings, and welcome back. If you are new here, then welcome into the Night Garden. I am VampireAntihero, and I am here to talk to you about art today. So, if you've poked around on my channel, you know that I do a lot of different things regarding art. I talk mostly about digital art. I do tips on how to improve your art. I talk about fundamentals and stuff like that. And I also do time lapses and speed paints and all of that fun stuff. So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I am actually going to be showing the process of a traditional art piece, a sculpture that I put together for a prop for my local theater troupe. For those of you who don't know, I volunteer in my local theater troupe and I also take care of their PR and marketing. So this is something that I do quite a lot of. I also simultaneously have been struggling with some pretty severe art block. I've been working on my daily studies that I've been posting on various social media, but outside of the daily studies, I've been having a really hard time actually sitting down and sketching bigger images. It's been a pretty rough problem for me, and I'm working on breaking that down for myself and trying to push past this block. So I wanted to talk about art block today while I'm showing you the process of building this gramophone horn. I've talked about art block before on my channel. I've talked about the mindset that goes into drawing and how sometimes if your mind is kind of messy, you can't really push past that in order to make something because you need to kind of quiet yourself first. That's kind of where I'm going with this. I am making this for my theater, but the whole reason why I agreed to make it is because one of the things that I do when I can't push past an art block is I'll do something else. I will go play a video game. I will read a book. I will do something that will lead me to be inspired. Anything like that. But if it's a longer art block, if it's something that I can't push back and it's taken like a week to a couple of weeks, I'm not creating nearly as much as I want to or I should, then what I do is I will work in a different medium. I will work traditionally. I will do something that is watercolor, or I will do something in acrylic, or I will build something. This art block has lasted a very long time. So this gramophone horn, I decided to agree to work on it because I wanted to take a break from digital art since I could not push past my art block. And this is a really great way to break an art block because you're suddenly looking at something in a different way than your main medium. You can see behind me, I have this gramophone horn. It is made out of paper mache. It's still in the paper mache phase. I need to put one more layer on it, but it's coming along and I'm actually really pleased with it. Paper mache is one of my least favorite mediums to work in. And it is also something that I have not done since probably high school. So it's something that I'm out of practice in. It's something that I don't have a ton of interest in, but it pushed me out of my comfort zone. And this is where I'm going back to being willing to do something else. Because when you're doing something else and you're paying attention to things that you wouldn't normally pay attention to, then your brain works in different ways. And it can sometimes like jostle you out of that stuck mindset. I decided to allow my husband to show this because I am awful at math, and he was actually the one that did all of the measuring and cutting out for me. This one's a little long. There it is. Okay.
So with the idea of the gramophone or phonograph horn, we really weren't sure how to approach it. We thought, we need to make a cone shape, right? Because that's the typical shape. How do you make a cone shape? We just weren't sure where to start. We initially thought like a plastic piece of Warbla so that we would be able to form it into just a cone in the shape, and then it'd be all easy. And then we had so much cardboard so that we were like, we can maybe make it out of cardboard and make it out of paper mache. And then it turns out that we actually had tea packets that are these little like pyramid shapes. And then when we opened it, we noticed that they were all these little triangles And then we thought, wait a minute, a series of triangles put together will make this incredible cone shape and this big flare that we really wanted. So what we decided is we actually tore one of these off on a previous one, and this is where we ran into some math, because we were like, we need to make sure that each one of these triangles, when we blow it up, we need the angles for this angle here, and then these two angles to match when we blow it up. So we took our handy dandy little protractor, welcome to like algebra, and we basically lined up the dot of the protractor, but the straight line across here, that's the 180 degree straight line, straight up and down here makes that 90 degree angle, so it's that straight nice angle, and then everything in between here would be kind of where our lines fall and other side. So what you do is you put the center right on the tip here so that you have your straight 180 going across one of those lines. It's probably a little hard to see from far away, but basically what we discovered was that this angle right here, the smallest angle, was a 26 degree angle. Then according to math, since these two angles are the same angle, these would then equate out to 77 degrees and 77 degrees, because your angles on a triangle should all add up to 180.
In the interest of saving some time, I'm going to speed up the footage here and just pretty much explain what my husband was doing there. He was just measuring out the amount of space where we blew things up to. So he essentially blew things up to 11 inches, measured out his angles, and that was about that. So without further ado, I am going to switch over to the sped up footage. I'll keep talking as a little square down in the corner, and I'll talk about my process with this thing. So here you can see me measuring out and scoring actually along the outer edge of the cardboard. You can see me bending. This is to articulate a bell curve on these cardboard pieces. And I only took a little bit of footage of me chopping those, but here they are, all cut out, all articulated, and now I'm going to try and tape them together. Now, I'm not going to lie, the first time that I tried this, it failed miserably because I tried to tape it all into one cohesive piece. So that would have worked fine if I hadn't done it like singular pieces, if they were wider angles instead of thin angles. So here I am taking it apart. There is very little that I needed to do to change it. I just needed to work in smaller sections. It kept falling apart when I tried to work as one cohesive unit. So the painter's tape is just to hold it in place as I am gluing it and make sure that it is having a structural integrity until this dries. So I used hot glue to put it together, and you'll see me in a minute pull out my hot glue in order to put this all together cohesively. There it is, falling apart again. So yeah, this is how it winds up getting put together, is with the hot glue guns. So I used hot glue because hot glue is incredibly effective when it comes to paper, and it would stand up to the paper mache since that's a cold process. Cardboard, there it runs and falls off the table. The cardboard took to the glue pretty well. The glue kept a strong hold on it, and it took me about 4 or 5 glue sticks to put this together. There's not much to really talk about in terms of hot gluing. Hot gluing is very messy. It takes a lot of a lot of time and patience that I do not have to hot glue. So I wound up burning myself a couple of times, wound up getting strings everywhere and having to pull them apart. But here we go. These are the dried pieces just kind of sitting there. I taped the horn sideways, and then I started to paper mache. So, this is the gramophone horn that I am making. This is about a day of drying with the paper mache. I still need to do some paper mache down the edge and on the inside here. You can see that I articulated the cardboard in order to make this bend. This is not glued, this is just scored. And eventually I'll be painting it. We are going to be attaching it to this jar lid, and it's going to rest across this. This is a real amber roll. It's going to rest across this amber roll, which is damaged, which is why we're using it, and just kind of sit there. So it's going to look pretty convincing once we have it together. It doesn't look like much now, but that's how it's going to turn up. I've got some gold leafing that I'll be doing on this, and I'm going to paint it so that it looks like a wooden gramophone horn. So this last part that I am showing you is just a matter of doing some of the paper mache on the horn. I'm going to switch over and put some music on, and then I'll just let it go through to the end. Thank you for watching. If you got this far, then I would like to thank you for getting to the end of the video. I hope that this kind of helps you think of a direction to go if you do have any art block that you're working against. It can be very hard to break out of those feelings and those emotions, so I totally understand and I'm there with you. But I'd like to switch gears for a moment and thank my coffee supporters. I could not keep doing these videos without you guys. That is Life is Great, Lovely Rosie T, and Jen Frank. You guys are amazing. Thank you for all that you do. And I will be back next Friday, either with some more of this gramophone horn or something digital for you all. So I hope that you all take care of yourselves, have a fantastic week. Drink your water and do what you can. I love you all. Bye, everybody.